Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. I'm Andy, and today we are in our Capitol Rotunda because we have a full agenda with some really exciting news that a lot of people have been working to make happen for a long time. So we wanted to make sure that people could be here today and join us. But we start every one of these the same way in talking about our red-hot economy that is bringing more opportunity to our kids and grandkids than many of us ever dreamed possible. Since the beginning of my administration, we have now announced over 1,000 private sector and new location and expansion projects, totaling a record $30.6 billion of private sector investment in us and creating over 52,700 new jobs. And the good news for our economy continues. Our general fund receipts for April hit nearly $1.8 billion. Even more impressive, it was the second highest month ever in our history, a big indicator of how our economy is booming, and it's the 20th consecutive month that we have scored receipts north of $1 billion. And just weeks ago, I announced Kentucky was once again placed high in Site Selection Magazine's 2024 Prosperity Cup rankings, with us coming in second in the South Central region and 8th nationally in this competition about which states are bringing their people prosperity. There is no per capita in these rankings. That is number 8 in the entire country, going up against any and every other state, something we can all be proud of. And so we have additional news from last week and this week. First, SRC of Lexington announced its plans to expand the company's footprint with a new facility in Fayette County. The project includes an investment of $15.3 million in the creation of 60 quality Kentucky jobs. We are seeing incredible growth in the manufacturing industry, and it is helping provide quality, good-paying jobs for Kentuckians and their families. SRC has had extensive success in Lexington, and I'm excited that it will continue for years to come. Congratulations to everybody at SRC Lexington for this exciting next step as a company. And then earlier this week, we announced another manufacturing company was celebrating the grand opening of their newly expanded $1.75 million warehouse in Boone County. Flotwig Separation Technology is a producer of centrifuges and other liquid-solid separation equipment. It's creating 12 good-paying Kentucky jobs at the expanded operation. When we talk about companies continuing to invest and provide job opportunities for communities they serve, Flotwig is a shining example. I had the opportunity to be in Europe and in Germany last month to meet with existing Kentucky companies that employ 15,000 Kentuckians. Foreign direct investment like this German-owned company are very important and help put food on the table for so many Kentuckians. So congratulations to the company and to Boone County. And we have a new announcement today. RIP Technologies is a manufacturer specializing in the printing and production of art pieces and picture frames. Today we announced the company's plans to locate a new $4.3 million facility in Mount Sterling, an investment that will create 46 full-time jobs. I'd like to welcome RIP Technologies to Montgomery County and to the Commonwealth. This is the latest company to recognize the value of locating in Kentucky and the many strengths our state offers to help businesses thrive. RIP Technologies co-CEO Ophir Rahimi said this is his quote, "With exceptional governance and a talented workforce, Kentucky stands out as an exceptional choice for business." Thanks to Ophir for choosing Kentucky, RIP Technology is going to bring almost 50 great jobs to Montgomery County and Mount Sterling. And it's important to note that this growth wouldn't be possible without our people. You know, we talk about a talented workforce, those are our people. So last week we announced continued investment in our people, in our workforce, with training incentives of over $1.6 million being announced through the Bluegrass State Skills Corporation. This funding will assist with training and development of nearly 5,000 Kentucky workers across 25 companies. Kentucky is home to an incredibly talented workforce, and it's our job at Team Kentucky to support our families, to help them get the best jobs they can, and to provide more opportunities for our kids and for our grandkids. The Bluegrass State Skills Corps is essential to our workforce and training development. All right, and what will likely be one of the big announcements today, in just a few weeks, Americans will once again celebrate Juneteenth. This is an important day in our history as Americans, one where we stand united in acknowledging our past and our nation's greatest injustice. A day when we honor the strength and courage of African Americans and the contributions they have made and continue to make for our country. It is impossible for me to ever fully imagine the horror and lasting scars and legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. But as governor, I'm committed to listening, to learning, to trying to hear, and then to take intentional action. Because I know if we work together, the inches that become the feet can become the miles of progress. They can create lasting change. And as a dad to 2 kids, I want to continue to try to set a good example. Working together, we've made some real progress. There are a lot of legislators here that we've been able to pass some bills together, like when we supported our HBCUs by signing important legislation and implementing new signage to show that we value them so much in Kentucky. We want everyone driving our interstates to know where they are and how we value them. With our Lieutenant Governor leading the way, we waived the GED testing fee, which we now see so many people getting that credential. We worked to provide the equitable distribution of the life-saving vaccines during COVID-19. We launched a healthcare initiative during the pandemic to ensure that everyone could sign up for coverage and no one was left out. We're working to deliver high-speed internet, clean water, and the right infrastructure to every neighborhood in every city. We worked to posthumously promote Charles Young to Brigadier General in the Commonwealth, and then we're able to successfully lobby President Biden, who now, thanks to his official action, made him the first African-American general in the history of the U.S. Army. He is from Kentucky. It happened 100 years late, but we got it done. Together, we broke ground on what will be the first hospital in West Louisville in 150 years. We removed a statue of Jefferson Davis from this rotunda. So that everybody who comes in feels welcome and feels valued. And no student ever has to look at that statue and wonder why it's here and what it means for them. And as I was talking with our mayor of Louisville, in the last 3 years, we've announced over 1,000 new jobs in about a 10-block radius in West Louisville and are attempting to bring jobs to every corner of the Commonwealth. And every year since taking office, I've signed a proclamation naming June 19th, Juneteenth National Freedom Day in our Commonwealth. The impacts of this chapter in our history still resonate in our time. And while Juneteenth is a celebration of progress, I believe it serves as a strong reminder of our responsibility as Americans and the work that still remains to be done. It is our responsibility to look back on one of the ugliest chapters in our history. We must look at it straight on and not hide from our own history, even the parts that are painful. Instead, we recognize it, we attempt to learn from it, and we work to repair the lasting damage and heal our nation's wounds so we can make progress for a better tomorrow. Every year I've signed the Juneteenth Proclamation, we've also urged the General Assembly to pass legislation officially making Juneteenth a state holiday. Over the years, many individuals from both the House and the Senate have proposed this legislation, and many of them are in the audience here today. I want to say thank you to every single one of them. Your voice is significant. Your efforts have helped us to continue to move this state forward. It includes Louisville Senator Gerald Neal, who's with us here today. he stood on the Senate chamber floor and made this same plea. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." After years of inaction, I've decided I can no longer wait for others to do what is right. So in a few moments, I'll once again sit at that signing table. But this time, I will sign an executive order officially making Juneteenth a day to give thanks to the many contributions of African Americans and naming it an executive branch holiday here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. This action will finally give this historic moment the recognition that it deserves, and our state workers work awfully hard. And so this is a day we can give thanks, and they can ensure to educate their family about why we're doing this. This is a monumental but necessary decision, and I'm honored to be here to celebrate it with each of you. Senator Neal, I know how hard you've worked, and many others that are here, to see this day to fruition. Would you please come up and say a few words?
Well, wow, what a day. Governor, thank you so much for your hard work and you raising these issues up that some don't quite get to as of yet, but I'm very hopeful they will. Let me just point out that Juneteenth, observed annually on June 19th, commemorates a monumental milestone in our nation's history, symbolizing both jubilation and a solemn reminder of the struggles and achievements of African Americans. In the 2024 legislative session, I filed Senate Bill 264 to establish Juneteenth as an official state holiday in Kentucky. The bill also calls for the governor to annually proclaim Juneteenth 19th as Juneteenth National Freedom Day. Despite the bill being stalled in committee, I remain committed to its passage, highlighting the need for our state to acknowledge and celebrate this important day. This is the third session I have filed a bill to make Juneteenth a state holiday. My previous attempts in 2022 and 2023 faced similar hurdles in the Senate, stalling in committee despite unanimous support in the House of Representatives. The delay in recognizing Juneteenth often stems from differing priorities among lawmakers. However, this should not deter our efforts. Recognizing Juneteenth as an official state holiday honors the legacy and contributions of African Americans to our nation's history. It adds to that story that we all are continuing to make. It reinforces the profound truth that freedom and justice are inalienable rights of all Americans, transcending race and region and origin. Honoring Juneteenth fosters unity and progress, aligning Kentucky with the federal recognition of this significant day. The governor's acknowledgement of Juneteenth paves the way for collaborative efforts between the executive branch and the legislative to ensure that this significant day is properly recognized and celebrated throughout our state. His leadership inspires us, all of us, to continue working together to promote awareness, education, and understanding of the historical and cultural importance of Juneteenth. I urge my colleagues in the General Assembly to support legislation in the upcoming session, recognizing the pivotal role Black Americans have played in shaping our country. By passing this legislation, we honor our shared history and demonstrate a commitment to equality and justice for all. Thank you.
I'm excited about the step we're taking today, but I admit we're not the first. 23 other states already recognize Juneteenth, and so do a number of our cities. First, we'd like to play a video from Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. They recognize Juneteenth for Metro City workers since 2022.
Louisville is proud to recognize Juneteenth, a day where our country comes together to commemorate the end of slavery. This is a time where we recognize our past, where we learn from it, and recommit to doing the urgent work needed to make our city, our Commonwealth, and our country a more inclusive place for everyone. Louisville Metro government recognizes this day as a city holiday, and we are thrilled to stand in support of Governor Beshear and all of Team Kentucky as we take this important step forward by making Juneteenth a statewide holiday. When we come together, we can achieve great things, and this is yet another example of that. Thank you, Governor, for taking this positive step forward for Kentucky and for our people. Louisville is proud to join you in honoring June 19th as Juneteenth.
The city of Lexington has also recognized Juneteenth as a city holiday for 2 years. Next, we have a message from Lexington Mayor Linda Gordon.
Over the past 2 years, Lexington has recognized Juneteenth as an official holiday for government workers and passage of the Crown Act ordinance. Congratulations, Governor Beshear, on taking these steps forward.
And although I am governor of Kentucky, I'm also a resident of Franklin County. And I'm proud to say our local government here is stepping up too. With us today is Franklin County Judge Executive Michael Mueller, who is here with an exciting announcement for the people of Franklin County.
Good afternoon. I am Michael Mueller, Franklin County Judge Executive, and I'm honored and privileged to be here today with Governor Beshear to say a few words why it is important that we acknowledge the importance and significance of Juneteenth. We all know the history of Juneteenth. We cannot ignore our past. To do so would encourage ignorance. Instead, we must educate ourselves and our community and learn from our failures of the past and acknowledge the lingering impact of this darker time in history. But Juneteenth not only marks a day of independence for African Americans, it's time where we all celebrate the contributions and leaders from our Black communities and stand with them on this day. Franklin Countyans know this. This community, maybe more than others, understands and has benefited the significance of this day. Franklin County does not exist in its current form without African American leaders from the past and present and their contributions and impact. From trailblazers like William Mayo or Dr. Edward Underwood, to current pillars in our community like Sheila Mason or Derek Graham. Derek, a public school teacher, not only taught an entire generation, but spent his career in this state legislature fighting for this community. And of course, we are so very proud of our very own Kentucky State University for all they've done for our community. A quote I would like to end with is from Winston Churchill. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. I want to say that again. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you can see. Today I will be signing an executive order recognizing Franklin County as a holiday for Juneteenth, and I am proud to do that. Days like, thank you. Days like today are how we grow as a society into a better version of ourselves. Thank you for having us here today, Governor Beshear. We appreciate everything you have done for the Commonwealth.
My only regret today is that my friend Michael Brown couldn't be here with us for this celebration. He looked forward to the day we were going to be able to do this. He's my father's Justice Cabinet Secretary, my Deputy AG, Secretary of the Executive Branch Cabinet. He was a very special person in my life and so many others. And the first year that we signed the proclamation for Juneteenth, he stood at this podium and read it. So today we have his son Matthew. And if you all will allow me, we're going to have Matthew to read the executive order in honor of his dad and everyone else.
Can y'all hear me? I'm really not used to these microphones. Governor Beshear in the state of Kentucky, it's an honor to do this on behalf of my father. As a follower of God, whose job was to do the work of his father, it's an honor to do the work of mine today. As I read the proclamation, recognizing Juneteenth, National Freedom Day, as a day of thanksgiving. During the Civil War, more than 200,000 African Americans courageously fought in the Union Armed Forces to secure their freedom from slavery and preserve this union. Many of these brave soldiers sacrificed their lives for the ultimate freedom of their families. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger led Union soldiers into Galveston, Texas, to bring the news that the Civil War had ended and to read General Order No. 3, which stated that in accordance with President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, all enslaved African American people were free and entitled to absolute equality of personal and property rights. This statement unjustly and unconscionably came 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, leaving African Americans enslaved even though President Lincoln had freed them. Senselessly, many African Americans also remained enslaved after June 19, 1865. June 19th became the emancipation date of enslaved African Americans who had long suffered and fought for freedom, justice, and equality. Each year, Americans celebrate Juneteenth on June 19th to honor and reflect on the significant roles that African Americans have played in the history of the United States and to celebrate the history, journey, and culture of African Americans. Juneteenth commemorates the strength and courage of African Americans, their contribution to the building of American institutions, wealth, and innovations, and their ultimate triumph over extreme adversity through their sheer determination and overwhelming tenacity. Certainly, all Kentuckians should give thanks to and celebrate the freedom of enslaved African Americans and their immense contributions to the United States. In 2021, Juneteenth National Independence Day Act and Juneteenth Federation Holiday, the first federal holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. Day, became a federal holiday nearly 40 years later. At least 28 states and the District of Columbia observe Juneteenth as a holiday. Kentuckians must continue to work together toward a more equitable and just Commonwealth while recognizing the honors of slavery and its legacy. Recognition of Juneteenth reflects the Commonwealth's resounding belief in liberty and equality for every citizen. Under KRS 2.147, Juneteenth is observed in Kentucky as Juneteenth National Freedom Day as an executive branch holiday as proclaimed by Governor Beshear.
I'm so proud of you. With that, I'd invite our Franklin County judge up for one of these signing tables. I'll take the other, and to all of our legislators, advocates, anybody who wants to be a part of this historic signing, when we make it official, come on up. All right, but today, we're not stopping there. We're going to continue this work because right now in Kentucky, we are living in a historic moment, one full of opportunity and possibility, with record investment and new jobs being created. But with that success, we must ensure prosperity reaches every community, every family, and every Kentuckian, because we can't build that better tomorrow, that new Kentucky home, if we are still weighed down by discrimination of the past. So today I'm also signing an executive order mirroring the Crown Act that prohibits discrimination in the workplace because of hairstyles historically associated with race. This includes natural hairstyles such as braids, locks, and twists. Team Kentucky strives to be an employer of choice in all 120 counties. We set a standard for fair and inclusive workplaces, and we lead the way by doing what is right. We are on the biggest, best economic development win streak of our lifetime, with more jobs and investment coming to every corner of the Commonwealth than ever before. The eyes of the world are on us. They're looking for us to lead. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I've always believed that diversity is an asset. And across Kentucky, we're building a brighter future for everyone, with a diverse workforce full of talented, hardworking Kentuckians from all different backgrounds. That's what makes us special. It's why employers are choosing us. We see the values that a diverse team brings every day in my office. We see it with the guidance of Latasha Buckner, my Chief of Staff and Senior Counsel, and this day wouldn't be happening without her. And she just loves being publicly recognized. It wouldn't happen without a former Cabinet Secretary of ours and now our Commonwealth Attorney, Jarena Weathers, who is with us today. This is an action taken by the Personnel Cabinet that Jarena had led, and now Mary Elizabeth is doing such a good job with. We see it with leadership with folks like Melinda Wofford, who is here with us today. Melinda is an assistant director at our Transportation Cabinet, a graduate of the Governor's Minority Management and Trainee Program, and a vital part of Team Kentucky. Melinda, would you come offer a few words for us today?
Good afternoon. This is a historic day for Kentucky. Thank you, Governor, for recognizing me and for embracing the individuality represented in our great Commonwealth. Acknowledging cultural uniqueness is a strength which provides peace in a world where everyone should feel comfortable and confident in reaching their full potential without fear of having to remove their crown. The way my hair looks is not a reflection of my work ethic and definitely not a reflection of my character. This order makes possible the freedom needed for me to continue to wear my hair in its natural state, the state that God blessed me with, without fear of discrimination in the workplace. Governor, there isn't much more that I can add or to say about this order, other than that I'm grateful that the executive branch recognizes how important it is for individuals to continue to represent themselves with their hairstyle. Thank you, Governor, for allowing me to speak, for your support, and for the executive order acknowledging my crown.
Thank you. Wow. And Team Kentucky wouldn't be where we are today without voices like that and leaders like that. So I'd invite those here today who supported the Crown Act, who support this new policy, to please come up here and we'll make it official. All right, we have a number of other pieces of news from this week, including some good news that happened yesterday. As you know, on April 2nd and 3rd, we had at least 19 tornadoes sweep through the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I was with my son at a baseball tournament and flew back to see the damage firsthand. A very tough tornado. I think at F2 it hit Union County, and I remember talking to a young couple that had no insurance, that had lost absolutely everything. So I requested a federal disaster declaration in April, and we learned yesterday that individual assistance from that declaration was approved by the President of the United States. So this means thus far, and counties can be added to this list as more damage assessment comes in, that individuals that have been impacted will be able to apply for federal funding in the following counties: Boyd, Carter, Fayette, Greenup, Henry, Jefferson, Jessamine, Mason, Oldham, Union, and Whitley counties. Again, additional counties can be added and were in the past with both flooding and tornadoes. I am thankful to President Biden and his administration because these types of awards are rare, but they are incredibly important, and they are going to help our families recover. According to the White House, assistance can include grants for temporary housing and home repairs, low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses, and other programs to help individuals and business owners recover from the effects of a disaster. Residents and business owners who sustain losses in the designated areas can begin applying for assistance at disasterassistance.gov or by calling 800-621-FEMA or by using the FEMA app. We note in the beginning that it is an extensive application. We now have years of experience in helping people try to get through this process. And if you're filing an application, it may be a long process, and you might be denied a couple of times. Reach out. Let us help you. We want you to ultimately get approved to get back on your feet. In the aftermath of these storms, both the Lieutenant Governor and I were on the ground in these areas, saw the first responders and all their great work. We were fortunate. In the end, we only lost one life that day. A Union County couple had 2 kids ejected from their home that landed between 2 mattresses. And if that's not the hand of God, I don't know what is. So today, really proud of our president and thankful for his help. Next, we have some news about providing more clean water for our families. Access to clean water is a basic human right, and through our Community Development Block Grant Program, we are funding 10 projects across the state that are going to bring more clean water for our families. In total, today we're announcing about $13 million that will go towards improving our public infrastructure. These projects include $1.2 million to build new sewer lines in the city of Lancaster, improving service for over 1,500 Kentuckians. $1.2 million to the city of Marion to make improvements to their wastewater treatment plant. Remember, that city had a water emergency for months upon months, so very excited about this one. And also $2.8 million to Livingston County to increase the capacity of its water treatment plant. That is done jointly with Crittenden County. This project will expand the capacity of Crittenden-Livingston Water District, allowing, again, the city of Marion, right next door, to address their water concerns. So today we have a video from the Livingston County Judge Executive, Tara Swanson.
Hi, I'm Tara Swanson, Judge Executive of Livingston County, Kentucky. On behalf of myself, Livingston County, Judge Executive Perry Newcomb, Crittenden County, and the Crittenden-Livingston Water District, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Governor Andy Beshear, to the Department of Local Government, and all of Team Kentucky, including the Penny Royal Area Development District, for this vital funding that we've received for this project. The Crittenden-Livingston Water District is expanding in 3 phases, and this money is going to go towards phase 1 of that project. Part of that phase 1 is going to include purchasing a clear well. The clear well is going to provide additional storage capacity for the plant, which will provide immediate relief for a plant that's been operating at max capacity for entirely too long. And it will also give us a little wiggle room in the future as we work to implement a more permanent solution to our water needs. Water security is one of the most important things for any community, not only for the safety and health of our residents, but for economic viability and security in the future as well. Again, the importance of this project cannot be overstated, and we are so blessed and thankful for all the support that we have received so far. Thank you, Team Kentucky.
Terrace was a very good lawyer. She's becoming a great county judge executive. Thank you for that video. The full list of projects will be on today's press release. Next, we have an important update on our ongoing battle to combat illicit drugs and save the lives of Kentuckians through our Counterdrug program. Unfortunately, we all know not one, but multiple individuals we have lost to addiction. Each one's a child of God, taken from us too quickly, missed by their loved ones and by their friends. We are continuing our work to fight back and to save more lives. And while there is more work to be done, we are seeing progress. While we're still losing too many lives, it's important to celebrate when things start looking better, because that makes us work that much harder. By working together in 2022, Kentucky saw drug overdose deaths decline by 5%, which was the first decline since 2018. That was the year we were one of only 8 states in the entire country to see a decrease. Pretty soon, we're going to get those official numbers for 2023. Some have reported some preliminary numbers. But I think you're going to be really excited about what you see, about the work from so many people, from our police to our National Guard to everyone working in recovery to everybody working to make sure that Narcan is out there to save lives, because the answer to how many times you ought to revive someone who's undergoing an overdose is every single time. That is someone's loved one. That is someone's friend. They are a child of God. Our job is to do everything we can to save them, no matter how many times we have to try. In 2023, we supported the distribution of more than 96,780 overdose reversal medication kits, provided substance use treatment services to nearly 18,100 individuals, and helped more than 14,630 individuals access recovery services. The state's treatment access program removes roadblocks to help recovery by helping those without health insurance. We now can provide a treatment bed to anyone who needs it, regardless of their ability to pay. We worked probably a decade to make that happen. And I want to acknowledge the great work by our counties and our nonprofits the legislature passing the Recovery Ready certification that has our communities bringing themselves up to the very highest standard about how to provide these services. The state is also leading the nation in the number of drug and alcohol treatment beds per capita. We, by far, have the most treatment beds in the country, meaning we are doing more to help our people. You know, because of this and second chance employment, we've recorded the 3 lowest recidivism rates in over a decade. What that means is when you help people, right, when you help them with that root cause and you get them in that stability of a good job, you change people's lives. You truly get people better. So to today's news, I'm pleased to be joined by Kentucky National Guard Assistant Adjutant General Brigadier General David Munkus to provide an update on our counter-drug program and to support this work moving forward by signing this fiscal year 2025 State Drug Interdiction and Counter-Drug Activities Plan. Today, we are announcing that thanks to the work of our counter-drug team, which includes multiple state, local, and federal agencies, including the Kentucky State Police, the Kentucky National Guard, the Appalachian High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, HIDA, the Homeland Security Investigations, and, oh, General, you can step right on up, Homeland Security Investigations and Drug Enforcement Administration. During 2023, these groups combined helped save Kentucky's lives by seizing 265,170 fentanyl pills and 208.3 pounds of fentanyl. Sadly, those are both records. It means more is out there, but it means these groups are doing more than ever. That is enough to kill just about every man, woman, and child in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and we're really grateful for your work. To give you that in another way, officials estimate 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds of fentanyl, just 2.2 pounds of fentanyl, is enough to kill 500,000 people. In 2023, this team increased the number of fentanyl pills seized by more than 5,000% and seized more than 100 pounds of fentanyl, 100 more pounds compared to the year before. They also seized 822 pounds of methamphetamine, more than 310 pounds of cocaine, which seems to be increasing. They enabled 164 arrests and facilitated the surrender of more than $2.3 million in cash tied to illegal drug activity. They are not slowing down. Thus far this year, they've already seized more than 86,150 fentanyl pills and approximately 93 pounds of fentanyl. So to continue this courageous, life-saving work, I'm going to sign the 2025 fiscal year State Drug Interdiction and Counter-Drug Activities Plans after we hear from our Brigadier General. Thanks for being here.
So thank you, Governor Beshear. I am incredibly thankful for all of the men and women who serve our state and nation in the Kentucky Air and Army National Guard. We're immensely proud of our Kentucky National Guard counter-drug team's support to local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. In our collaborative and supportive role, the Kentucky National Guard counter-drug program provides unique personnel, assets, and capabilities to law enforcement agencies to disrupt the supply and reduce the demand of illegal drugs in the Commonwealth. It is our honor as the Kentucky National Guard to serve with local, state, and federal law enforcement professionals in Kentucky in our supportive role. And the entire interagency team's efforts have significantly increased the Commonwealth's ability to remove fentanyl and other dangerous substances from our streets. Additionally, Kentucky National Guard airmen and soldiers assigned to the counter-drug program have supported 74 events for Operation Unite's Drug Demand Education on the Move program. Our airmen and soldiers continue to answer the nation's call, in this case supporting law enforcement agencies for Kentucky's counter-drug efforts, ultimately not only helping combat drug trafficking, but also helping to save lives in the communities in which we all live, and helping to ensure safety and opportunity for all Kentuckians. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right. Our National Guard, specifically our Air Guard, is one of the most recognized and awarded in the entire country. And if you need to know, if you need a big proof point, whenever you fly into Louisville, just look over at those beautiful new C-130s. Only a select number of states got those. The very, very best were awarded with them, and we're really proud of our Air Guard. So, General, if you join me, I'll make it official. And it is May. Thank you for your work. All right. Thank you. All right, an update on our EV charging stations throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I told you we had a lot of different news today. Today, I'm announcing that we have completed our third round of awards to 8 private developers who are going to build an additional 18 fast charging stations along Kentucky's interstates and parkways. The 18 new sites will be located in Central City, Elizabethtown, Bardstown, Campton, Salyersville, where we're now 4-laned all the way to Salyersville, Glasgow, Hazard, Cadiz, Morgantown, Bowling Green, Louisville, Crestview Hills, Frankfort, Midway, Moorhead, and Shepherdsville. Today's awards represent an $11.8 million investment through a federal program known as the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program. In total, we've now awarded $27 million of grants through this program. What that means is throughout Kentucky, we're going to have access to at least 42 reliable and convenient places to charge vehicles that are located every 50 miles along our interstates and our parkways. This is just the start. With so many different private entities stepping up and putting their own in, but what this will mean is when people are looking at where they're going to bring their tourism dollars, where they want to travel to, where certain conventions will come, where people who are a part of this industry will move their business, that they will see Kentucky as a place where if you want to drive an electric vehicle, you can drive all over all our state parks, every part of Kentucky, and be able to charge that vehicle. There is more work to be done, but this is an exciting third round. We're also sharing some positive news on oil capping here in Kentucky. In Kentucky, we have about 14,000 oil and gas wells that are abandoned but are still leaking methane. So we're making it a priority to reclaim this land for our families and creating some really good jobs for our people. This is one where all the industry and the EPA have come together to do something we all agree on that creates jobs in Kentucky and makes our environment better. It's made possible through the federal bipartisan infrastructure law. We previously had a $25 million grant through this funding, which we used to create 90 jobs. We plugged 635 legacy orphan wells in 27 counties. Today, I'm pleased to announce we're getting another $25 million to cap additional orphan wells in 2024. I want to thank the Kentucky Division of Oil and Gas, the Kentucky Geological Survey, and all of our contractors, the private sector who have stepped up excited about doing this. We've reclaimed about 49 acres of land, and we have some really neat stories about land that couldn't be used until it was plugged, and now the great use that we're being able to use it for. Also news today on school safety projects. 3 years ago, I announced a commitment that Team Kentucky would boost highway safety near our schools. I'm excited to announce today we're going to break ground on 2 projects to improve access and traffic flow at schools in Hopkins and Crittenden County. Totaling more than $4 million, these projects will provide much-needed access improvements and safer driving for students, parents, and buses. In Hopkins County, we're spending $2.2 million to turn Kentucky 254, that is called Brown Road, into a wider 3-lane highway to serve the James Madison Middle School campus near Madisonville. When your family's from Dawson Springs in Hopkins County, Madisonville is the big city. Additional turn lanes and a new on-campus access road is included to provide plenty of space for vehicles in line at those schools. This is in addition to a new, safer entrance to Pride Elementary School, which we completed last year. In Crittenden County, we're also investing nearly $1.9 million along US 60 in Marion to widen the road and add turn lanes to increase traffic capacity and access for the Crittenden Middle and High School complex, as well as the county hospital. To date, we've done about 60 school safety projects totaling $24.5 million. We have at least 13 more under construction. All right, and finally, or right before the All-Stars, I want to take a minute to recognize a really important group that we as a nation are recognizing this week. It's Public Works Week, and we are recognizing the folks who improve and protect our roads, water, public buildings, and so much more. Here in the Commonwealth, we have federal funding to make sure high-speed internet gets to every home and every business in Kentucky. Our families are getting clean drinking water, many of them, for the first time. We're building the Brent Spence Companion Bridge in northern Kentucky without tolls. We're pushing the I-69 project forward, as well as 4-laning the Mountain Parkway, and none of that would be possible without the hard-working people in Public Works. They are our engineers, our technicians, our maintenance workers, our project coordinators, those that work the heavy machinery, that get after it every day and create safer roads for our families. I think about the Mini to Herald, which is a project we did in Floyd County, but it impacts Pike County. There are people along that road that it now takes them 30 less minutes to get to work. You think about that every day and how that adds up. Time with your family, ambulances, being able to get somewhere faster. We see them as road projects. We see them as infrastructure projects, but they better our way of life. And because I know we got the very best in public works in Kentucky, we're getting the most done. Because of y'all, we are building a better Kentucky, welcoming so many people and so many businesses. So thank you. We cannot do it without you. And that's why I was proud to sign a proclamation that recognizes May 19th through the 25th as Public Works Week in the Commonwealth. So I know today we've got some folks from the American Public Works Association and any of our other public workers. If you come up here, I'd like to present this proclamation, and we should all get a picture commemorating this week. And we got a lot of Team Kentucky All-Stars today. Certainly everybody who works in public works, thank you all. I was a little late getting to a meeting in Louisville the other day, and I said, who's in charge of how much traffic we have on our interstates? Then I thought, well, that's probably me. But thank you. I was in Morton's Gap when 2 ladies and their families got water for the very first time. They'd never been able to turn on their faucet and know that reliable water was coming. They'd hauled water their entire lives. And seeing that faucet come on and seeing the look in their face, it's a really special thing. And also, as Team Kentucky All-Stars, everyone who worked to make today's Juneteenth announcement, as well as the Crown Act and our state regulations possible. Those are local leaders and advocates. Those are state leaders who fought for this for a long time. It's student advocates that have been here at the Capitol sharing their talent through music and so many other ways. I want to thank everyone who did anything, no matter how big or how small, to help us do the right thing. So let's keep working together to move our Commonwealth forward, and let's continue to let advocates like y'all lead the way. Congratulations to our team, Kentucky All-Stars. I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm going to turn it over to the media for questions. Y'all don't have to wait. This went longer than normal. Thank y'all very much. Karen, you want to kick us off?
Governor, what message do today's announcements send not only nationally but internationally about Kentucky?
I hope today's announcements send the message that we all matter, every single one of us, and to make sure that we all have real opportunity. We've got to recognize that there are still barriers out there, that there are still vestiges from some of the darkest moments of our history. And until we not only recognize them, admit them, but then listen and work together to address what still exists in our society, then everyone won't have that full opportunity that they truly deserve. I want everybody's kids growing up in the Commonwealth to know they matter, to know they count, and to know that we're going to work on getting them the biggest, brightest future possible. It also means that I've got some wonderful people around me in this government building and outside of it that have worked a long time, that provide incredible advice, that help me listen and hear, and I'm grateful for them, from those that work in my office to those that work in the legislature. And let me say, I also hope that a lot of other counties and cities follow the lead of Judge Mueller here, who today made it a holiday in Franklin County. We have Rachel Richardson. Yeah.
So a really good point was made about banning discrimination based on your physical appearance, based on
Yeah.
Why is that important? What does that say to people that might be interested in bringing their business to Kentucky or coming here to work and live?
It means that we oppose discrimination in all of its forms, and we're willing to listen. Even when we might not see or notice it, doesn't mean that it is not absolutely real and felt. I mean, you heard it today. And what this means for an individual to be able to be themselves. I want people to know that when they come to work for the Commonwealth of Kentucky that we care about them, we respect them, and we want them to be them and the best version of themselves. So, how'd I do? You were incredible today. Sydney. Yeah. We have enacted the most significant changes in our Department of Juvenile Justice since its inception. When I came in, we had juvenile justice workers making less than $30,000 a year. Far too few of them in our facilities, with facilities that were 30-plus years old. We were having nearly daily assaults on the individuals that were in there. It was not a safe environment. We were housing boys and girls in the same facility, and you could have someone awaiting trial for murder next to someone who a judge sent there for truancy. We have not run away from this challenge. We've run right towards it. It was exacerbated by COVID, by some more gang activity than we have seen in juveniles in a while, as well as the closing of the Louisville facility that had been there for a long time. I believe when we look at the numbers, things are getting better, but that doesn't mean we don't need to try harder, and we're willing to listen to everyone who is going to offer suggestions. You know, this last General Assembly, we got some changes we needed, but we didn't get all of them. Again, we are still in some of the oldest facilities that are not designed with the safety features that are needed. We need 2 new girls' facilities so that law enforcement doesn't have to drive all over the state. That wasn't just us, that was pushed by Danny Carroll, but they didn't fund it. We asked to have the classification for those that run the facilities changed. Right now, they are merit employees. We need, like our superintendents, for them to be directly responsible on a day-to-day basis for the actions in those facilities. So we've seen some help from the supermajority in the General Assembly, but certainly not the promise of everything we need. With that said, we are going to work with the Department of Justice. Now, they called me, and they haven't interviewed one single supervisor or individual in the system itself, so this is just the very start. They recognize that we have made a lot of changes, and they said don't stop just because of the investigation that they're opening. Keep going. To any parent who has a child in these facilities, we're going to continue to work to do our very, very best to keep them safe. I do want people to recognize that that safety is important, not just for the juveniles in there, but the staff as well, where we had seen significant injuries. Remember, for the most part, these aren't small kids. You know, my son's 14 and he's taller than I am. And so we just need to make sure we're doing this right in a way that protects everyone in those facilities. All right, and we do not have Tom Latek, who is on here. All right, thank you all very much. Great day.